finish this development, the rest of London will just be an extension to King's Cross. You've got fantastic hotels, you know, you've got fantastic apartments, you've got schools, you've got old people's homes, you've got medical facilities, you've got theatres, bars, restaurants.
Church?
Watch your space.
Hi, we're Pete and Bea, and we're going to be planting a church here in King's Cross come February 2010. And we just want to share with you a little bit of our vision for the area and for the church.
Chapter 1, the very beginning of the church. I mean, excitement levels were high. We had no idea what we were doing, yet believed that God had called us, given us this vision to actually give ourselves away to God, each other, and the people of King's Cross. And we had a number of moments that gave us enough of a sense of like, we think God's in this, we're still going to have to make a leap of faith, but let's go for it.
It was one of those ones of it was just a desire brewing, a sense of connection, a sense of feeling like, well, where else would we go? And then I think when we decided that, then these amazing confirmations kept coming in like wave after wave. Those early stages were absolutely fundamental in terms of learning to stand ground and keep going and not quitting.
We didn't have hubs, small groups, but we did loads of socials, loads of parties, loads of relationship building. There was a strong language of homecoming. This vision of a red carpet being rolled out in King's Cross. People from all walks of life journeying towards the kingdom, journeying home. Some of our compassion ministries began in those early stages where we said, look, God, here we are, do whatever you want to do. And we were just sort of like swept into these kind of like plans of God, which were becoming a reality as we stepped out in obedience. Chapter 2 was really about creativity. We got given 15,000 square foot of empty space. So we said to the church, like, this is way more than what we need. What's in your hand? What's in your heart? How could we fill this space with life? And over 3 years that happened. The office moved in, XLP, Food Bank moved in, Mum's the Word, Clothes Bank moved in. We said to Choices, why don't you set up a baby boutique? We ended up building this co-working space from waste furniture, saying to the people of King's Cross, if you'd rather work in community than in your bedroom or in a coffee shop, come and join. And that grew fast. We developed this community cinema on the top floor. So it was almost like this empty space was filled with life. That's where we learned about creativity and cultural renewal, that actually we didn't just want to build the church, we wanted to serve King's Cross and wanted to see culture transformed in this amazing part of London. Chapter 3 was about saying goodbye to York House. The owner said, look, we want you to move out now so we can redevelop it. So we had to take all these plants, these ministries, these activities and find new homes. There was pain of actually letting go.
It was very confusing, wasn't it? And leading people through that when you're processing your own sense of loss and confusion of like, why would God provide all this amazing stuff and then shut it down? But trusting that therefore that was part of his plan, then there must be good stuff ahead on the horizon.
As a staff team, we lost the office, so we were nomadic. We were meeting in coffee shops and homes wherever we could. But that's where we developed the language of like, we don't have a map, we have a guide. We don't have a 10-year plan, but we do believe that God is with us and his spirit will lead us. So we were developing a head-up spirituality, almost like Jesus saying, I only do what I see my Father doing, of like, Lord, what are you doing? We want to be on board. It felt like we were just trying to find our way. And then God provided KX House, this dilapidated office building, sort of a few doors down the road from York House. We needed to do quite a lot of renovation work. Rich Spence came into his own. We ripped out the asbestos. We kind of built sort of a blank canvas again. And, sorry, it's not me getting emotional. Where's the water? Do that again.
So we basically moved into KX House.
It We weren't recreating what was, but KX House was filled with new life. Art co-working kicked off, and these ministries, these plants that had been relocated around King's Cross, they continued to grow. It was an exercise in trust. You know, we're letting go of a chapter which was really beautiful, but we're trusting God that you will lead us into new terrain, new territory. And God was unbelievably faithful. A hard chapter, yet beautiful in many ways. So the fourth chapter was consecration. It was hard. It was really hard. We felt like the Spirit speak into that. So the verse that came to mind again and again was Joshua 3:5. Now they didn't know that they were about to witness some serious miracles. All they knew was today they needed to ready themselves. Like consecration feels like pruning, it feels like preparation, it feels like purification. None of those things are pretty. When you're pruned, you know it's for the sake of new life, but it feels like things are being cut back. The key moment was in Scala, where we were recording our live album. In the process of getting ready, 2 producers were flown over from California, and one of them went into cardiac arrest on the flight over and tragically died. And it was a horrific period. The other producer said, no, I want to carry on with the live recording. We said, look, let's just cancel it. He's like, no, I want to carry on with it to honour Andrew Jackson's life, the producer that died. So we went ahead, and this night where we were going to sing our hearts out, proclaim the kingdom, almost became this night of lament. But a beautiful thing happened. Lament turned to intercession. I gave this thought about, the walls of Jericho falling, not through kind of them fighting. God said, you just march around Jericho and then lift the shout and I'll do the rest. What we can do here in King's Cross is bring our pain to God. We can choose to worship in the midst of pain, and we can lift our voices. That can be our warfare of God, we trust that this battle belongs to you. So we said we need to lift our voices and pray that the walls that stand in opposition to the kingdom in King's Cross, territorialism, and some of the kind of darker history of King's Cross, but we want to pray that those walls would come down. So we raised a shout, and I will always remember that shout. We were carrying fragility but choosing to trust in God. And I think that was the season where we learnt to pray. We learnt more about intercession, a different form of prayer, of contending, like knocking on the door of heaven, asking for His Spirit to be poured out. And I look back now and think, well, that consecration and even the pain and the loss, it was all preparation for this new life that was beginning to emerge. Chapter 4 was preparation, but chapter 5, I think, is about the joy of the Lord being our strength. It's about salvation. I think this is a season of seeing many come to faith. A lot of people are talking about revival. I think that's become the cry of our hearts. Lord, we don't have enough gifting to see the kind of change we want to see in King's Cross and across this city. So Lord, we're crying out that you would pour out your Spirit and there'd be a revival in the church coming alive, and an awakening in the culture where culture experiences renewal. We started 10 years ago praying some pretty big prayers. I think 10 years on, we're praying even bigger prayers now. And we're praying to the one who has promised that He can do immeasurably more than all we could ever ask for or imagine, according to His power that's at work within us. And because we know that His power is at work within this community, we're praying big prayers, knowing that God's plans are even bigger. And that's an unbelievably exciting thought.
Our heartfelt gratitude for the people that have joined us. You can't do it without the people, and when you get to do it with people that you truly love, genuinely family to us, and we are just so grateful and expectant of what God has over every single life at KXC and those that are to join in the next 10 years.
A massive thank you to everyone. You've shaped our story, and it's been a beautiful thing to be a part of.